Shh. Can you hear that? Are you even listening? Because people are talking about your dealership right now. Oh, unless of course you're too busy talking about yourself. Now, there is a lot of territory to cover when it comes to your dealership's social media activity. The problems are aplenty, and we see them every day. The wrong kind of content, inconsistency and infrequency of posting, misreading your audience on one platform versus another, delivering the wrong message, and in turn not taking the correct steps to grow your audiences. But one of the biggest problems affecting dealerships is the lack of social media listening. Now, we're not talking about observing your page metrics, your mentions, industry trends, or gauging the effectiveness of a particular post or campaign. Despite being crucial practices, all of them, and we'll get to all of them in due time, those are covered under the umbrella of social media monitoring. So what's social media listening? Well, it's the act of understanding the intent behind any engagement and properly reading the mood of your engaged audience members. And no, I'm not talking about Karen and the fact that she insists on talking to your manager. I'm talking about the wider audience of prospective buyers and service customers, and the general perception of your dealership that's being built every day. Now, you may have heard the term social media sentiment, a gauge by which you can assess your content's engagement, be it positive, negative, or neutral. And newsflash, a negative sentiment may not be your biggest problem. In most cases, a neutral sentiment means that you're not making much of an impact at all, and it's more common than you may think. Take the all-too-familiar "please join us in congratulating so-and-so on their new vehicle purchase" post, complete with awkward smiling salesman photo op. Yeah, you might get a heart reaction from the buyers themselves, a close friend or family member, maybe a share or two, but who gives a Unless you're dangling a subprime lending carrot on a string, people without a personal stake in that sale are likely to be indifferent. And nothing about that kind of post on its own mobilizes another prospective buyer to pull the trigger on their own purchase. In the general audience, that post is eliciting a neutral reaction. So why do so many dealerships make these posts a cornerstone of their social media content? It's because they're too busy talking instead of listening to what people are saying and what they're not saying that could help that dealership to secure more business. So before you start planning your next week or month worth of social media content, let's talk about 5 steps you can take right now to start getting yourself out of that neutral zone. 1. Always be listening. In other words, cast a wider listening net so that you're paying attention across all platforms and not just on your dealership's pages either. Listen to what's being said on pages belonging to your OEM, your competitors, in influential enthusiast groups. Remember, what they're talking about is important, but how and where they're saying it can help to really gauge its significance. Make it easy for yourself. Start with Facebook and build out from there. 2. Your competitors. Monitoring your competitors' profile should be standard operating procedure. Not only will it help you to see what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, as well as what topics they're covering to gain traction, but you might be surprised to find that it's yet another place where your dealership's name can come up in conversations. And don't you want to know what people are saying? 3. Share openly and collaborate. If you're open to the insights and feedback that are right there for the taking, you'll find plenty of opportunities to improve your operation, both departmentally and as a whole. This might require new strategies, collaboration between your departments, or the enlistment of new talent. Perfect example for you do-it-yourselfers out there? Making sure that you're building fresh blog and or original video content around hot button topics, exciting new offerings, or buzzworthy industry news that you may have otherwise left untouched. This alone can pay off huge in exciting your audience. Adapt to what you hear. Trends come and go. 2020 is a perfect example of how topics that are important to us one day can be swept aside the next day when a different topic steals the spotlight. You don't have to follow every passing trend. but you need to be aware of what they are to determine which provide a natural opportunity to fuel organic engagement with your desired audience. And lastly, take action. Remember the difference between social media monitoring and social media listening. Both are important, but metrics will only get you so far. At some point, you need to step into the conversation and be ready to do something with the new information that you've received. And in the coming weeks, we'll talk more about your dealership's social media content, the motivation behind that content, your success at executing it, and the means by which you can promote it. Just make sure that at the core of everything you do, your social media strategies aren't tone deaf to what your audience is saying and what they're not saying. So stay tuned. We have plenty more to come next Thursday and every Thursday right here on Just the Tip.